wired for relationships. So tune in and join with me as I explore and discuss tools for healthy relationships. Every Monday, 12:15 p.m. on Isaac 98.1 FM.
Alright guys, welcome once again. We are back for another edition of Healthy Relationships with a counselor and trainer. I'm seeing we're continuing with a case study today. This one will be a part one of this. Alright, so let me say good afternoon and invite Petreece. Good afternoon to you, Petreece. Hope you had a blessed and wonderful weekend. Good to have you back with us today.
And good afternoon to all our viewers and listeners. It is wonderful being back here, and by God's grace, the weekend was good. I am really grateful for the feedback that I would have gotten on Marcus, his case. I not only got stuff from the studio from Isaac 98.1, but I also had clients messaging me, telling me how much they benefited from that program. And I think the whole thing of using case studies is that people can relate to it in a much more intimate way, in a much more practical way. So I actually had persons who said, I'm a Marcus, and I realized that I need help. So I was really grateful for the impact of that. So again, we're continuing using the format of a case study, and I am dealing with healthy friendships. And as you said, Tiffany, yes, this is part one. So it's a case study involving Keisha and Anissa, and it's nobody that I know. So they are two friends, different strengths, and I'm going to be looking at the real ups and downs of a friendship that lasts a lifetime. So I'm focusing today on different strengths and one friendship. So again, this case study is not about anyone I know or anyone I have worked with. And as I said, case studies help us to relate to information in a more personal and practical ways. So I'll be talking about these two friends, Keisha and Anissa. They met in sixth form about 16 years, going on 17. And here is what I want you to notice from the start. And this is what I want you to notice from the start. These two friends were good at very different things. So I want you to notice that. So I'm already telling you what we're looking at as we go into this case study, looking at dealing with healthy friendships. Now, before I share more on Keisha and Anisha, I want to share what are those 20 characteristics of healthy friendship. Yes, 20. The first one, number one, you can be real. You can be your true self, and you can be honest with each other. 1. 2, you can really talk to each other. 3, you feel comfortable in silence. So even as you're listening, wherever you're listening from, and you most likely have friends because God has wired us for community, apart from relationships. You're not going to grow and heal and fulfill your potential if you're not in healthy relationships. It does not happen. Right? So even as I'm calling them out, you can listen, and you can listen to possibly where I'm weak and where I'm strong. Right? So number 3, you're comfortable in silence. This is in the friendship. Number 4, you can argue, disagree in a healthy way or in healthy ways. Number 5, you can be friends with someone else also. So it is not both of us are friends, but you can't have any other friends outside of me. That would not be healthy. Number 6, you trust each other. Number 7, there is a healthy respect of boundaries. Number 8, you nurture the relationship. So you do things that keep the relationship going. Number 9, you can pull each other up when you are doing wrong things. Number 10, you can appreciate each other's differences. Number 11, you support each other's life aims. Number 12, time and space are not an issue. So we could be in another country, we could have not spoken to each other for a while. When we catch up, it's like we just saw each other yesterday. So time and space are not an issue. Number 13, it is not awkward when you do catch up. There's no, well, I thought you was never going to call me, right? Number 14, you respect each other's point of view. Number 15, you learn more about yourself. Number 16, you laugh and joke. Number 17, you are there when the other needs you. Number 18, healthy friendships are mutual. So it is mutual, it's a mutual relationship. Number 19, you can rejoice and weep with each other. And number 20, a healthy friendship is a good influence. So these are the 10 characteristics of a healthy friendships, and we would be addressing all of them as we go through this case study with Keisha and Anisha. Part 1 and part 2 would eventually cover all. So Keisha was bold, honest, sometimes too honest. If your clothes was rumpled or your hair color wasn't what she considered flattering to you, she was the one who would look you in the eyes and say the hard things. She believed in you fiercely, and she would push you towards your dreams. But sitting still and just listening, Keisha was not good at that. She was always moving, always solving, always busy, always something that she was working on and had to get done and had someone to help. That was Keisha. Anissa was the opposite. Anissa, gentle, the listener, the one who could sit with you in silence and you would feel comforted. Whatever you told Anissa stayed with Anissa. She was like a locked vault. But speaking up when something bothered her, telling the hard truth about a matter, that Anissa avoided. She would rather keep the peace, sometimes even to her own hurt. She would rather keep the peace and swallow her own feelings. Now, this is important to note here. Nobody is strong in all of the characteristics. So I would have listed 20. None of us is strong in all the characteristics. We each have strengths and weaknesses. And I remember even one, in terms of my best friend even from secondary school. And yes, she showed up in ways and had things that I didn't. And then I had strengths that she didn't have. So just understand this as you're listening. None of us are strong in all of the correct characteristics. As we journey through life, we're supposed to get better though, right? So Keisha is strong in characteristic 1, being real and honest. And that has to do with you being comfortable with who you are, so you don't need to act like something you are not. Your friends know your weaknesses and love you all the same, and you are real when you are around them, and you are able to say even hard things. So you are honest, you are real about who you are, but also who they are, and you're able to speak up. Now, Keisha is also strong in characteristic number 4, which is dealing with disagreement, right? Now, great friends want their relationship to be solid, which means that they are willing to talk through disagreements. It may be uncomfortable, sometimes a little bit uncomfortable, to start and to do it, right? But they argue and confront, and argue doesn't necessarily mean they're raising their voices and shouting at each other, right? They confront and they talk through issues with the intent of coming to an agreement or a compromise in their relationship, which means in friendships we can agree to disagree. I could believe in something and like something that you don't believe in and you don't like, and we can still be friends, right? So as a result of this honest communication, healthy friendships would not let underlying tension or negativity linger very long. Friends address issues, forgive, and move on. Keisha is weak at characteristic number 2, which is listening and being fully present. She always just wants to solve the problem and to keep moving. Anissa is strong at characteristic number 2, which is listening, and characteristic number 3, which is comfortable in silence. And comfortable in silence speaks to the reality that we cannot always be talking, especially if you spend prolonged time with someone. We must therefore learn how to be silent, and this develops with good friendships. So in good friendships, friends can actually sit in silence or do things and be silent. We don't see silence as being negative or awkward, and we learn that we don't always need to talk to be in each other's company. And this makes for a more dynamic and less forced relationship, which means we can be comfortable in any mood around our friends. So we can be comfortable in a mood where we just don't feel like talking and the other person is okay, and they continue doing whatever they're doing. So Anissa was strong in this, in listening and being comfortable with silence. Anissa is also strong at trust and confidentiality, and you have to understand where trust and confidentiality is. There are many different levels of trust, and a healthy friendship must have them intact. First, we need to trust that the friend will not steal from us or cause us intentional physical or emotional harm. And this includes trusting that they will not try to poison our friendships. So we may have other friendships, and they would not try to poison those other friendships or even poison our life. Word, and to keep our secrets. You feel comfortable sharing your feelings or the details of your life because you know your friend would not gossip behind your back or throw it back in your face. So this is very important. So Anissa, she would have been strong in listening, strong in being comfortable with silence, but also strong at being someone you can trust and be confidential, someone who will be confidential. And Keisha, she was bold, she was very honest, sometimes too honest, and Anissa, of course, was the opposite there. Keisha was very strong and wanted to deal with conflict, right? Anissa was weak in characteristic 1 and 4. She avoids saying hard facts, just being real a lot of times to herself and to others was a bit difficult for her, and she avoided conflict. So even as I'm sharing this and I'm going to go into an example with these two friends, think about which characteristics you are strong in. So just think about. So you would have heard a number of them with Keisha and Anisha. What are you strong in? And also think about what are you weak in? What are the areas you need to work on? And the truth is, we all need to work on certain areas when it comes to healthy friendships. Appreciating, and this is important because they were both friends, which means they would have had characteristic number 10, which is appreciating each other's differences. They had that, right? So everyone in the world is different. In a healthy friendship, we enjoy aspects of each other. We enjoy what the other person brings to the table and what they bring to our lives. A healthy friendship begins with an appreciation of someone's unique character and personality traits. And this is the good news. Because no one is perfect and we all have strengths and weaknesses and issues, their differences are not a problem. They are a gift. And we have to be able to see how the friends that we have in our lives help us to be better because they are different from us. Because there are things we can learn from this person and develop in our own lives. Because they help us to confront areas that we may not want to confront. So these differences are to be perfect. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We have issues. So the differences, they are not a problem. They are a gift. Where one is weak, the other is strong, and we can help each other to get a little better in those areas of weaknesses. And that's exactly what happened. Keisha's honesty kept Anissa from hiding. Anissa's gentleness softened Keisha's sharp edges. Where one was weak, the other was strong, and it helped both of them to grow. Now, how their strengths showed up. So these are the good days. So we have to do the good because all relationships have the good days and they have the bad days. So let's start with the good days with Keisha and Anisha. When Anissa was falling apart over a failed exam, ready to give up on her whole dream, it was Keisha's bold honesty that she needed. Keisha sat down with her, spoke to her. She said to her, "You are not a failure. You failed one paper. Get up. We are going to do this again." So she confronted her with the truth of the matter. You are not a failure. You failed one paper. And you can get back up and do this again. So her boldness, right? Her being real, that characteristic of being real. And even characteristic number 11, which is supporting her friend's life aims. So she knew what Anissa wanted to accomplish. And she wasn't going to let her just give up because she failed one exam. And she was seeing herself as a failure, which wasn't true. So these are Keisha's strength. And that characteristic number 11, what that is about is when we are young, at school, at university, for example, it may look like our friends even and us, we're heading in the same direction. But as life progresses, we realize that this is not the case. Everyone has their own individual course and their own aims in life, even what God has put them on this earth to fulfill. Both of you all as friends, in secondary school, we might say, okay, yes, good, we're so good friends, we will live next door to one another, we will do this together. But then, no, that is not how it goes. We start to realize what God has put us in this earth for, and it can be very different things, right? So, in understanding of each other's goals, and we respect the efforts of the other to advance on their own path. And in turn, we feel that they do the same thing for us, and we also support each other in advancing, right? Even if it is completely different, because we want them to have a fulfilling life. So Keisha spoke the truth in love and refused to let Anissa quit on her dream, right? Keisha, very direct, which gets her in trouble sometimes, is a blessing here. And when Keisha's father got really sick, really sick, right? And Keisha, who never cried in front of anyone, she finally broke down. It was Anissa who simply sat with her. She didn't try to fix anything. She did not try to fill the silence. She just held her hand and let her cry. So that characteristic number 2 of really listening and being comfortable in silence, they are Anissa's strengths. So she's good at active listening, not rushing in to fix, being fully present, right? And sometimes the best thing we can do for a friend at times is just to sit there, right? And where silence is not awkward, I'm not uncomfortable with silence with my friend. And sometimes this can be the most caring thing, right? And this was a gift for Keisha. Keisha was the fixer. This is a gift that Keisha could not even give to herself, to just be able to sit in silence and just cry and process her pain. Anissa was able to give this to her. And whatever Keisha confided in Anissa, her fears, her family's private business, Anissa never repeated a word. Keisha knew that her secrets were safe, and that is a precious gift. That is a rare gift. And so Anissa had that characteristic, which is number 6, which is trust and confidentiality. That was Anissa's strengths. When stories or information of someone who was considered a friend, which is so painful, but Anissa was a vault. It's locked. You tell me it's locked. And that is precious. But of course, it's friendship. And we're not perfect. And no relationship doesn't have ups and downs, conflicts, good days, bad days. That is all relationships, healthy or unhealthy. So, the bump. Every good friendship has its rough patches. So just know that, please. If your friendship is going through a rough patch, it doesn't mean that you all should not be friends. All relationships have them. And these two had their first major bump, rough patch, in university. They went to university, did different things, but they were in university together. Keisha, being Keisha, said something blunt about a guy Anissa was dating. And this is what she said. He's not serious about you, and you're wasting your time. No, she was right. But the way she said it, and in front of other people, cut Anissa very deeply. Very deeply. Now, here is Keisha's strength becoming a dagger. Honesty without gentleness. So there's the honesty without gentleness, but she's also operating in that characteristic, number 9, which is you can pull each other up when you are doing something wrong, so that a real friend would not see you doing the wrong thing, sinning, or making poor decisions and not speak up to you about it. It may be a difficult conversation, but she or he will be willing to speak to you about what he or she knows or understands to be wrong. So here, Keisha was operating in her strength of being honest, being real. And she's also operating in the strength of we pull each other up when you see something is off, something is wrong. But you don't confront your friend, I should say, in front of others. That's something you do privately. Approach is everything. So Keisha, yes, these are wonderful strengths, but they became a dagger. They became very painful to Anissa. So she may have been speaking the truth, but we're supposed to speak the truth in love. And there's a way to confront a friend, a way to confront anyone, right? So that approach was off. It was terrible, right? Keisha had the courage to be honest. That's good. She had the courage to say what she knew would, it could cause some upsetness, right? But she had the courage to do it, but not the gentleness. And that was her weak spot. She didn't have the gentleness. A strength overused without love can wound. And that's what she did. She wounded Anissa. And what did Anissa do? Anissa listened. You saw very little emotion on her face. When Keisha said, "You're okay?" she just said, "I am fine." She smiled and she went home and cried. That's what Anissa did. She didn't tell Keisha she was hurt. She just swallowed it, went home, and she cried. Now, here is Anissa's weak spot. That just being willing to be open and honest with your friend. And number 4, where she is avoiding hard conversations, avoiding dealing with conflicts. So she avoided those hard conversations. She says, "I'm fine," when she's not. And she lets it fester. If you never speak up, one of you is just giving in. If you don't speak up, we cave in. And that damages the relationship over time. Why? Because it leaves room for resentment to grow in silence. Because what you're really doing, you will be pulling away. Because you feel hurt, that leads to a disconnection, and you will pull away. For a few weeks, there was a coldness between them. Anissa understandably, she pulled back. And remember what she's weak in, what she's strong in. Keisha needed space to process the hard truth that she shared with her about her relationship. So as far as Keisha was concerned, I was a good friend. I gave her the truth about how I saw this relationship. And okay, so she seems a little cold, so probably let me just give her space because it's a hard truth to process. That's how Keisha saw it. Until one day, Keisha just asked straight out, because we know this is how Keisha is. Keisha would see and just say. So she just asked straight out, Anissa, what is wrong? Talk to me. Something is off, and I would rather that we deal with it than pretend. So we are seeing where Keisha's strength is actually rescuing them, wanting healthy disagreement, to talk about the issue. There's something wrong. Her strength of being real and honest. She doesn't let tension linger. She's not afraid to confront and to talk about issues, right? She names it and invites the honest conversation. So she's naming it. She's saying, something is off. Something is off. And I would rather deal with it than pretend we're okay, because we may still be meeting up, saying hi, giving a hug, eating together, but you could tell that we're not connected. And while I would have, so this is Keisha thinking, okay, probably she just needs some space. I said something hard, right? So she's not pushing it, but then she realizing this coldness going on for too long. And this is my friend. I love my friend. So Keisha, in her style, she brings it up, right? I want to deal with it. I don't want us to pretend. Healthy friends don't let negativity linger. They address issues, they forgive and move on. And for once, Anissa took a breath and told the truth. What did she say to Keisha? You hurt me. You hurt me deeply. Not because you were wrong about him, but because you said it in front of everybody like I was foolish. So here is Anissa coming out of her comfort zone and speaking up. Keisha was quiet for a moment. Then she said, you know what? You are right. I was unkind with you, and I am sorry. And this is the repair. And notice each had to use a muscle that does not come naturally. Anissa had to decide to be open and honest and speak something that is not easy for her. Keisha had to receive correction and apologize, which her pride did not love. Anissa, when she was speaking up about how she felt, she stuck to the issue. The issue is, you said this in front of everybody. She probably could have handled it if she told her just the two of them by themselves, but you said this in front of everybody. She was specific. So in Anissa speaking up about the issue, she was specific. It wasn't you always, she was specific. And Anissa had to forgive. 1 Peter 4:8 says, most important of all, continue to show deep love for each other, for love covers a multitude of sin. And what happened? They came out stronger. Anissa learned that she could speak up and the friendship would survive. And this is how we know healthy friendships. We can say if our friend hurt us, we could speak about it and work it through, right? And Keisha learned to soften her facts and her truth in terms of her speaking the truth about a situation with love. She learned to soften that. That is not a friendship without problems. That is a healthy friendship because they repaired it. So, this is the end of part 1. So let me just look at some of the main points raised today. None of us is strong in every characteristic. We are each a patchwork of strengths and some weak spots. And that is normal. We need healthy self-awareness to admit where we are weak and to allow God to work on us through our relationships with Him and others. So none of us strong in everything. And some things we'll get better at. We may never be strong at it, but we'll get better at it. Our differences, another point to note is that our differences are a gift. Where one friend is weak, the other can be strong. And God, and that characteristic number 10, where you can appreciate each other's differences, is very important. So that Romans 5:7 says, therefore accept each other just as Christ has accepted you, so that God will be given glory. And we know acceptance doesn't mean we agree on everything. Acceptance doesn't mean I cannot call you out on your flaws. I cannot say what you're doing there is wrong. What you're doing there is a sin. Acceptance is you are a person of worth, and I will treat you as a person of worth whether you're getting it right or getting it wrong. I can appreciate your strengths. I can understand that you have weaknesses and issues. That is what acceptance is about. I can appreciate how your life and your friendship with me has helped me, how God has used you to help me to be a better person. That's what acceptance is about. That is what appreciating each other's differences is about, and accepting even as followers of Jesus. Also, Keisha's strength was honesty and courage. Anissa's was listening, being okay with silence, and keeping confidence. And we have to remember this. A strength overused, honesty without gentleness can wound. The Bible tells us to speak the truth in love. And avoiding hard truths, not willing to deal with issues for what they really are, not speaking up about them, not confronting, lets resentment grow. Because we have to understand, in healthy relationships, you can argue, you can disagree in healthy ways. And a healthy relationship, you can pull each other up when they're doing wrong things. You're not going to just let your friend run over a cliff and die. Healthy friendships are not friendships without conflict. They are friendships where you address issues, forgive, and repair. Again, 1 Peter 4:8, love covers a multitude of sin. We're able to face the wrong, face things that are painful, and address it. And this is important, viewers, listeners, very, very important. We are not going to heal and grow outside of relationship with God and people. God will heal us Pain came through relationships with people. Healing is going to come through relationships with people. We just don't need a healthy relationship with God. You know, there are some people who say, all I need is God. I don't need people. I don't need anybody to be my friend. I don't want anybody to be my friend. That is not healthy. Right? Because healing is going to come as you allow God to use people and healthy relationships to heal you. So, those 10 characteristics of healthy friendships. Tiffany, if we have any callers or any messages, we can take it, but just going through that 10 characteristics of healthy friendships.
At this time.
Number 1. Yes, Tiffany?
Go ahead, Petreece. Nothing at this time. I was just updating you.
Okay.
All right.
So number 1, you can be real. You can be your true self and you can be honest with each other. Number 2, you can really talk to each other. Number 3, you feel comfortable in silence. Number 4, you can argue or disagree in a healthy way. Number 5, you can be friends with someone else also. Number 6, you trust each other. Number 7, there's a healthy respect of boundaries. Number 8, you nurture the relationship. Number 9, you can pull each other up when you are doing wrong things. Number 10, you can appreciate each other's differences. Number 11, you support each other's life aims. Number 12, time and space are not an issue. Number 13, it is not awkward when you catch up. Number 14, you respect each other's point of view. You're respectful. Number 15, you learn more about yourself. Number 16, you laugh and joke. Number 17, you are there when the other needs you. Number 18, a healthy friendship is mutual. Number 19, you can rejoice and weep with each other. And number 20, a healthy friendship is a good influence. So I will close there and I will continue in our next program with Keisha and Anisha.
Thank you, Petreece. God bless you. I was looking for the WhatsApp to see if we had any messages incoming. Nothing so far. Right? If I get anything, I will send to you. But
Sure.
I want to say thank you so much to you, as per usual, coming on and sharing all this information you would have put together. We appreciate you. And of course, guys, if you wish to contact Petreece directly, it's a message only number 329-7383. Message her that number and she's going to respond to you. So Petreece, have a beautiful day today. God bless you. And until we meet again, thank you once again. Have a great one. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Petreece Cuffie, counselor and trainer, and one of my deepest desires is to see people experience the fulfillment and growth that comes through healthy relationships. We're wired for relationships, so tune in and join with me as I explore and discuss tools for healthy relationships every Monday, 12:15 p.m. on Isaac 98.1 FM.
Isaac 98.1 FM. Listen to us at home, in your cars, on your way to work, or in the office. Tune in now and listen live.
Isaac 98.1 FM.